The Easter story is one of hope in the divine, but it is also recognition of our humanity. Jesus' body had been put into the grave improperly. With the Passover coming and the need for purity, the burial had to be hasty. The women went to the grave to do properly what Nicodemus and Joseph of Arimathea had done hastily. The Marys had stayed at the cross when the other disciples had fled or even denied that they knew Jesus, and they stayed even till his death and the taking down of the body. For the majority of the Gospels, we hear about James, John, and Peter as the core apostles. But when the critical moment comes, James is silent and Peter is in hiding. Only John is seen at the foot of the cross with the women, and it falls to two men who followed Jesus in secret to bury the body. But sunset had been coming, and everyone needed to be ritually pure for the Passover, so the body had not been washed and covered in oils properly. And so the women who had stayed until the end set off as early as they could to make sure that the body was properly treated. The Marys had been with Jesus from the beginning and had been the most ardent in their faith that Jesus was the Messiah, the ones most likely to believe that the resurrection was possible. But they also had seen Jesus suffer and die. They were both most likely to expect the resurrection and least likely to imagine the body to be gone. It is fitting, therefore, that all of the Gospels agree that Mary Magdalene was the first to declare the good news that Jesus had risen from the dead. And through that resurrection, Jesus has opened to us all a path to new life. But that path begins with following Jesus, not just or even primarily by declaring ourselves followers of Jesus when it is politically expedient, like Peter or James, but also when it is dangerous, like John and the Marys, and understanding that to follow Jesus into the resurrection means first to follow Jesus to the cross as well, by taking up the burdens of our lives. We are called to be hope for the hopeless, shelter for the homeless, food for the starving, and justice for the oppressed. We are called to deny the human inclinations toward self-preservation and greed, and to instead live into love and selflessness. And through giving, love to learn to accept the love of a God who became human, to show humanity how to become more godlike, and to open the path of God's reign to us all. Amen.